Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Jason, also known as Ominous Prime, and I appreciate you taking a moment to go ahead and take a look at this video. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the G.I. Joe Cobra H.I.S.S HasLab for G.I. Joe Classifieds. I know it's a mouthful, but there's been some activity that's gone on this week that I wanted to address. Just give my thoughts on and kind of give like an update of what's going on with it at the moment. For those of you that are not familiar with what a HasLab is, it's essentially Hasbro. They do a crowdfunding project. Usually it's for something that they're going to be making once. They're just going to do a product run based on how many backers there are for it, as long as it reaches the minimum of targeted backers for the project. Basically meaning, is it profitable for them to go ahead and do this? And by getting more and more backers, they can go ahead and extend unlockable tiers that would add to what you're going to get, but doesn't increase how much you're paying out of pocket for it. It's just something to kind of sweeten the deal to get more people involved. The more people that are involved, the way that it works usually with manufacturing, the more numbers that they have on there, the lower the cost for the manufacturing goes, and that's why they were able to include these extra goodies, as it were, to the project. But let me go ahead and pull up the HasLab so we can go ahead and take a look and see what's going on with that. The H.I.S.S tank has been around for like 40 years. Okay, we've seen H.I.S.S tanks, but we've not seen it like this. Not in this scale, not with this design, not with the features that this one has. And because of that, we got 15,612 backers when we only needed 8,000 to get the project completed, and we still have 38 days and 20 minutes left to get that done. It's been done, but let's go ahead and take a look and see while I was talking if anything changed here. No, okay, so it stayed the same. Sometimes it's been crazy. You click on it and it's like, whoa, the numbers jumped up again. Okay, so that didn't happen like in the last couple of minutes, so that's that's been different for what's been going on. Now, last time I talked with you, it was earlier in the week, and we had just gotten word for the third tier unlock, which was to go ahead and unlock this set here, which would have gotten 2 guns that are going to go up here on top, and this chin mounted gun under here, and a gunner. And this is the first female, like what would be an army builder type of character on the Cobra team. So it's a welcome sight to see. She has 2 additional fists to go ahead and exchange out, just like the tactician would have, as well as the driver. She also comes with a spade and what looks like a pickaxe of some sort, and the same guns that the other 2 would have. So we have 3 figures that would be in here, and this was the unlock at 14,000, I believe. And so we've exceeded that. So just to keep count of what we're getting so far, yeah, tier 3 was at 14,000. We're at 15, so we've passed that. So we've unlocked these missiles here. That was the first tier. We've unlocked this, which disappointed a lot of people, which was an old school canopy and these coverings here that go along the tread side, so it looks more like a for lack of a better term, a generation 1 H.I.S.S tank that you would have seen in the 80s. Now, some people wanted to have maybe a more traditional look, but some people were disappointed that that's all it was for tier 2, which unlocked with 12,000 backers. Now, the tactician was an early bird special, so I'm not counting that as an unlock. However, that did get us an additional figure, which makes the total 3 currently. and we'll get to choose from the colors here to vote on when the project ends on August 15th. So my vote right now, if I were to have it, would be either for this purple or this blue. We did get word finally of what the tier 4 or the 4th unlock would be at 16,000 backers. And a lot of people, well, when I say a lot of people being excited about what the 4th tier is, it's, I don't know, there's certain people for some reason that got kind of held up on the fact that we were shown a trailer hitch on the back of the H.I.S.S tank. They were hoping that something was going to be done right here, which was to attach another vehicle to this set to where you buy the H.I.S.S tank, you get 3 figures, and then get another vehicle. And to that, I think it takes away from what the H.I.S.S tank is, because this is supposed to be about the H.I.S.S tank and things that would sweeten the deal surrounding the H.I.S.S tank itself. So what this does, in my opinion, is it would, if we included another vehicle here, it would make it so that those that didn't get the H.I.S.S tank, didn't get in on this HasLab, didn't know about it for some reason, it takes away 2 vehicles from the G.I. Joe classified collectors. And what I mean by takes away is that whatever is being made here for the HasLab is supposed to be a one and done, so that they don't make another one, because if they were ever to do another HasLab and it had been done, that other things were created from this, it would undermine the whole idea of what a HasLab is, being that it's crowdfunded, it's supposed to be unique, limited release, and you're paying a premium to get this kind of thing. So if you were to, say, drop your $300 and pick this up, right? If they were to turn around and sell more of these, or any of the things that were added into the tier separately, I don't think people would go in on a HasLab again, because they would feel that they've been tricked and been shown that, yeah, you helped fund this thing. Now we're going to mass produce it for the masses. Thank you for being the guinea pigs that paid for this at the higher level, only to not have known about an option to get it cheaper afterwards. That's the reason why I don't think that they would do anything like that. And putting another vehicle, like people were saying that there should be an ASP, something that would be able to be towed. You put in a single pilot in there that has a couple cannons that you can position in a bunch of different ways. It's a towable vehicle. They thought that would be a great addition to this. I think so as well. However, I think it's better to release it at retail, so that if you picked up a H.I.S.S tank, you can go ahead and attach the ASP to the back of this, or any other towable vehicle. And if you didn't get a H.I.S.S tank, you can still get an ASP and still enjoy that, and you can army build that and have a bunch of them if you wanted to. I understand the idea behind it, but then when you're doing something like that, again, you're taking it away from other classified collectors that may not be able to afford to get in on a $300 project, whereas they might be able to afford, say, like, for some reason, I'm just throwing a price out there, I'm not saying it should be this, but if they had like a $60 classified vehicle, be it a Trouble Bubble or a Vamp or something like that, an ASP, something that's smaller, like an Armadillo tank. You know, an Armadillo tank doesn't have to be a HasLab. You know, maybe down the line they do like a Snowcat. A Snowcat makes sense as a HasLab. It's a larger vehicle and the same kind of scale that the H.I.S.S tank is, and it's a very popular vehicle that was in G.I. Joe. But the smaller vehicles, I don't, and I don't believe it would be smart to go ahead and include them as an additional vehicle here, because for the fandom, you know, we've been saying that we want to see vehicles in the stores. This is how we get vehicles in the stores. It's not including them as part of the H.I.S.S tank HasLab. We need to have those separate smaller vehicles that we can, you know, army build with, should we want to. It should be an option. The other thing that was added here for the 4th tier, so we can go ahead and move forward with that, is I'm on hisstank.com, shout out to them. They always post a lot of great things when it comes to G.I. Joe, and they have their sponsors here. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so if you want to go and visit these places, go ahead and do so. Although you'll notice a Chosen Prime here, where I do visit quite a bit. What we have here is Cobra Commander. This is the same Cobra Commander that's been added on to the HasLab project for the Sky Striker. It's an O-ring 3 3/4 inch figure. This one's going to be a 6-inch figure, and this is the one that's known as the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander because of the error here that occurred where they didn't do the tampograph properly, which resulted in it looking like he had Mickey Mouse ears. It is by no means affiliated with Disney in any shape or form. It's just what fans have called it because it looks like the Cobra symbol has Mickey Mouse ears. That's the story of it. It's a misprint. Mystery gone. So if you hear anybody saying MM Coco, that's what they're talking about. This one will not have the silver stripe here on the helmet. This is more like the Toon design for it. I'm actually pretty excited about it. It comes with this backpack piece with the straps here. That'll include his blaster that he was known to carry, 4 additional hands, his knife, and the globe with the snake wrapped around it. There's been a lot of people complaining about this for a couple of reasons, and I'll get to that here in just a moment. After we got tier 3, we were like, okay, what's next is what it seems like for the community. So they put this out, and this is supposed to be the last tier. You're getting the 4th anniversary of Cobra Commander, which was released in '82 with this print error. This is the only way to get this one. It's going to be on card back, so it's not going to be in a box like the H.I.S.S tank driver, the H.I.S.S tank tactician, and the H.I.S.S tank gunner. Those will be boxed and numbered. This one's going to be on a retro card back. Here's where people kind of got upset. One of which is they're like, oh man, it's another Cobra Commander. We've already had 3. So this one would be number 4. But this one is now basically what people are saying is a paywall, $300 paywall in order to get him. I believe that they're going to do this one without the error on the retro card back. That'll be more of a throwback. Probably have like the silver stripe on here. Maybe the helmet will be a little bit different, but it won't be this version that will be more than likely made available. So it's for those that have the nostalgia and wants to make sure that they get that. But one thing that people are hoping for is that there's going to be a 5th tier. This goes back to, will we get something that will use the trailer so that we can go ahead and have something that's towed? Now, if they did something that was towed that would work with the accessories that are already coming with this, I would be on board with that. So like this missile rack system here, if they had a towable like mini vehicle, it doesn't necessarily even have to be manned, that would have these attached to it, so it could be something that's freestanding, and say that it's like a surface to air missiles setup where like the H.I.S.S gunner could sit there with like or the tactician sit there with some kind of like a remote device to control it. It could have like treads as well. It would be something interesting. Then you have something that you could do with this that's separate from having it attached to the H.I.S.S tank itself, and gives you like a little bit more play value, if you're looking for that in your $300 set. But the other things are people keep throwing in more and more figures in with these, and to that, I say every time you throw in another figure into the set, it does effectively reduce the cost of what you, in your head, you're thinking you're paying for the tank, because you have to take now into consideration the cost of each one of the figures that are being included. And if we were to look at the figures themselves, right now, the cost of we have this one newly available here, which was Duke with the Ram cycle, repainted for Tiger Force. You can see that's $45 for him with the motorcycle. But the figures themselves, individual figures, and I don't know if this one's considered a deluxe set because of what comes with it, $33.99, right? But the singular figures, you're looking at $24.99 a piece. So before we get into Cobra Commander in there, we're effectively like $75 off. So, reducing that $300 set by that puts you at about $225. If you want to include the other accessories, I don't, because I consider them part of the vehicle in any case. Instead of it being a $300 tank, you have a $225 tank. Once we hit the 16,000 goal, then, effectively that renders it like $100 less for the tank itself, and then you get 4 figures with that. We throw in another figure. I'm like, what could they really put in here that they want as part of the HasLab that would not make a release, to retail? And that's where they end up with problems potentially. And I see people saying, throw in a Baroness, put her in like a gunner's outfit, because they're going to already have the mold for that. Just do a different color, have her in the gunner's outfit. And, that might be kind of cool because she's with the H.I.S.S tank all the time, but she's never had a different uniform. She's always worn this. There's always Destro, since it's his company making them. You could put in another Destro, but that would make it, that would be the 4th Destro. So maybe people wouldn't complain too much about that, but the people that are backing this they might be like, yeah, another Destro, hooray. And the only kind of Destro that would probably get people excited is if it was Iron Grenadier version of it. And if you do that, then it kind of takes away from doing that down the line, and other people are going to be upset that they couldn't get it because it was stuck as part of the HasLab. So you would want to steer clear of that. The other option, of course, is to throw in a Joe to go like against this. The only thing I can think of is to have, like, say, because they've already released Flint, they could potentially put Flint in, say, like a Cobra officer's outfit or something like that in disguise. They could always do something like that. That would be interesting. But it's one of those things of, who do you put in with the group that you're okay with not seeing get a retail release? And I don't know if anybody really wants to see something like that, And that's kind of like the fine line that the G.I. Joe team over at Hasbro has to walk, is what do we put into this HasLab that's going to get people to back it, but make sure that we're able to still make for the fans that aren't able to get in on the HasLab? And what kind of money are we potentially losing out on by putting it as part of the HasLab? And there's been other people that have made mention. Shout out to Mega J Radio. If you don't know him, look him up. He's got a really great channel. He's very pleasant to listen to. He's always joyful. He's a great member of the community. But he suggested, or at least this is where I heard it from, was from him, is that the third tier, because he believes that HasLabs are about momentum, keeping it going and keeping people excited about the product in order to keep gaining backers throughout the lifetime of the actual funding phase. I don't have a better way of putting it, but keeping people interested in the product, talking about it, and getting more people on board. Because the second unlock didn't get it done because people weren't excited about a canopy, and two panels that you'd put on the side of your tank. So he believed that the third tier and the fourth tier originally planned were put together so that you would have the chin gun, the two guns, and then the gunner and the extra accessories that went along with her included as part of the set, instead of breaking up into 3 and then 4, be it with a gunner just sitting in the gunner's position, and then have the fourth unlock be the additional cannons and guns, or the other way around. But once the third unlock was announced, I put out a video, and a lot of other people did as well. We were really excited about this. So with the fourth one, there's people that are disappointed with it being Cobra Commander, just because of how many times we've seen him, or they were disappointed that we didn't get a vehicle that's towable. The other thing that we haven't seen but was mentioned when they were talking about the H.I.S.S tank initially was blast effects, and that they still had to figure out the diameters to put the holes into the cannons, because they didn't know how well it would fit, and the weight of it, and they were working that out. But they did mention that they were planning to do that. As you'd seen, we haven't seen that included in any of the tiers as of yet for the unlocks. So is that just going to be something that they end up throwing in, at the end of the campaign, saying, hey, we did such a good job, everybody involved, that we decided to present this to all the backers. Here's some blast effects that will go into the main cannons, the chin cannons, and also for the side guns, and possibly for the guns that the H.I.S.S tank driver, tactician, and gunner have for themselves, and also Cobra Commander now. So I'm hoping that it's not done as, if we hit 20,000, here's some blast effects, because that will be kind of like a sour note to me, as the last thing they could think of to entice people to get on board with this. But this has been kind of like a really odd go around with the HasLab. I've not seen one that just ascended so quickly with the number of people that were backing it. The last one that went this fast, from what I understand, was an XMen HasLab, and let me see what that was real quick here. That had to have been Galactus, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Sentinel. And from what I understand, for those that got Sentinel, they had some issue with the knees because of how large he was, and it was not as good as it could have been. But for those that didn't get a broken knee, they were very happy. But Galactus to me seemed kind of like a retooling of some of the things, the ideas that they had here. But this guy got funded really quickly. And look at that. 30,811 backers. Target was 14,000. And they hit all of their backer goals here. So everything got unlocked. I don't believe there was anything else thrown in here. Let me see. I didn't pay a lot of attention to this one because I didn't know what to do with the Galactus. I mean, I'd gotten a Unicron and I was like, this guy is humongous. I don't even know what this one was going for. This one, from what I understand, was like the fastest one that got filled. This one's now the fastest because it did it in less than 9 hours. But G.I. Joe, for as much as our fandom is very fervent, Marvel has a broader reach of fans. But that's what's going on right now with the HasLab project. It's going along smoothly. For those of you that aren't aware, if you're interested in the project, there's 37 days, 23 hours, and 48 minutes. We're at 15,616 backers. When it gets to August 15th, which is the last day, at 11:59 p.m. is when it ends. As soon as it goes to midnight, which would be, or 12:01 a.m. on August 16th, that's when it'll be due that you actually make payment for your order. And you have a limit of 5 that you can get. And so if you're looking to go ahead and get on board with it, you're sitting on the fence going, that's a lot of money to pay, but you're interested in getting in it, you can still back the project. If it turns out, as you get closer to the date and you're like, you know what, I really can't afford it, you can still get out. There's no penalty for getting out of it. Yeah, if it's not something that you're sure of that you want to get, I can understand that. I'm not giving you any pressure to go ahead and get in on the project. I'm just saying that given the last few projects, for instance, just staying on topic with G.I. Joe, when we had the G.I. Joe HasLab for Sky Striker, there was a number of people that saw it, forgot about it, saw it again after it had closed, wondered what happened because of all the changes that occurred with the Cobra takeover and the unlocks that were mentioned. They are now like, well, anybody want to trade a HasLab H.I.S.S tank for G.I. Joe HasLab Sky Striker, 1-for-1? They're not even the same cost. The H.I.S.S tank is actually priced higher, but they're looking to see if they can get Sky Striker now, because they know when the Sky Striker hits, it ain't gonna be $250 that they're gonna be looking to pay. They're probably gonna be looking at least double, if not anywhere in the $750 to $1,000 mark. And that's what happens with the late tax that I've mentioned, is you don't want to be on that end, especially if you have FOMO. If you're interested in it, you need to get in on it before the project ends. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about it. There probably won't be too much as far as the H.I.S.S tank campaign goes forward from here. I might make a video in August when this closes out, just to see where we ended up at. But unless they mention some other tier that they decided to include in here, there's not really much else to say, because they've pretty much said what all the unlocks are. We seem to be on target. It's not far off from hitting that 16,000 goal and getting everything that was announced. But if you have any comments, go ahead and put them in the comment section below. If you're new here, go ahead and give me a subscribe here if you'd like to see more of this content. I did just start a new job, so I am working full time. So it's kind of, along with me being sick, I have an ear infection right now. I got my meds, so this video is a little weird. That's probably why. But I'll continue to make videos here. I'll be making some videos this weekend, so I can see about scheduling them for this upcoming week. Yeah, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate you again taking a look at this video, and I do like it when you guys comment and let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you excited about this project, or are you like, these shouldn't exist and they should only be at retail? Let me know in the comments down below. There's no opinion that's wrong. We all are in the community, and we all support our habit sounds wrong. Our hobby. We like to support our hobby. And so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say good night, and I hope you all have a good day or night when you watch this video. All right.